is home to one of the most diverse communities in Michigan, with a vibrant and growing business district in Detroit. More importantly, it is the only part of Detroit that is growing in population. This is true even though the community has faced tremendous challenges that many communities would not survive. We host the Detroit Salt Mine, Marathon Oil Refinery, 3 freeways dividing up our neighborhoods, the largest rail yard in the state, the Ambassador Bridge, and 30% of our residents live at or below poverty, while air quality in Southwest Detroit is among the worst in the city of Detroit. The National Environmental Protection Policy Act, NEPA, provides for a comprehensive process mandated by federal law to ensure that the conduct of all federal agencies is protecting the human health and economic and environment of the public. An environmental assessment, a lower tier process, was completed for this massive project, and the findings failed to recognize that there is a significant impact on Southwest Detroit, and a full environmental impact study is needed. More than a shortcut EIA process. It is apparent from the sheer number of residents attending this hearing concerned about their human health. A project of this size, a controversial one. I'm sorry, what did you say?
30 seconds, please.
Thank you. You say 30 seconds?
30 seconds.
Okay. The Detroit Court, there are 5 issues regarding the finding of no significant impact. 1, the fact that the EA did not include the whole project, but only segment of the project, which makes it flawed. The nearby gateway project changes. 2, the nearby gateway project undermines the EA in allowing bridge traffic into my neighborhood. 3, there are a number of disputes on the usage and ownership of surrounding property, especially Riverside Park. Ambassador Bridge will not be reopened. The lack of commitment by the company in various announcements to the public, there is a lack of commitment that the old Ambassador Bridge will be retired. 5, the lack of independent analysis and consultation from relevant agencies is lacking here.
Rashida, your time is up. Thank you.
Because they work, or because they have kids, or they have other responsibilities, they can't be here. So we're here to represent them, and I'm so happy to be here. My family's been in Southwest Detroit for almost 100 years, so we're happy to be here, and we want to stay here. My great-grandfather's house was torn by the freeway. My grandfather's house was torn down by the freeway. So you understand how we've been affected by mass transportation projects for 100 years.
That's right.
And that's why I will tell you, in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was written. Anybody familiar with that? Any project that receives any kind of federal funding, and I believe before. So in determining the site or location of facilities, a recipient or applicant may not make selections with the purpose or effect of subjugating residents to discrimination. Executive Order 12989, the Environmental Justice Statement of 1994, states, to the greatest extent practicable by law, each federal agency shall make EJ part of its mission, that's environmental justice, by identifying and addressing the disproportionate and high adverse health effects or environmental effects of its programs, 1, its policies, 2, its activities on minorities and low-income peoples. That's 45 years of democracy at work, people. I suggest you review that legislation so when you're reading the paper and DIBC comes out asking for public lands, you have an answer for that. Also, who knows what's in diesel emissions? Raise your hand. Okay, a couple people, let me tell you. Volatile organic compounds, particulate matter, carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, benzene, butadiene, formaldehyde. Let me tell you some of the health effects of those. Headaches, nausea, damage to the central nervous system, cancer, damage to the liver and kidney, fatigue, chest pain, impaired vision, asthma, bronchitis, emphysema, weakening of the heart disease, premature death, cancer, numbness, difficulty in concentrating, and affecting the reproductive system of women. I'm not saying that that's the only thing that we have to deal with is the bridge, but why put another ton and tons of pollution? In fact, according to the International Border Study, the worst in air quality of all the options that you could put in the city. Why in Southwest Detroit? Why again?
Mr. McKay? Yes. Okay, next on this side, that is Mr. Bachman, please.
My name is Tim McKay. I live in Port Town. I'm a resident of 27 years in Port Town. I have been recently active with Greater Port Town Development Corporation and our projects in Port Town. I only can look at the bridge company as hardly being a good corporate citizen. They're building the bridge without approval. They're doing things without permit. They took over public property without our consent. And we have to spend tax dollars to throw them out. What are we thinking? If anybody took over property that was owned by the city, you or I, we would be kicked off. We would be thrown out by the police. They are arrogant and inconsiderate. We have to stop these people.
Bicycle often, and it's very dangerous with all the trucks on the street. It's very dangerous to breathe the fumes from the trucks. And this is a place where we live and we walk and we bicycle. It's a neighborhood, not a thoroughfare. So I really think that we should have a full environmental impact study about this proposed bridge project.
Thank you, Ms. Michelle.
I'm Lord, and I've lived here for, I guess, 7 years because my husband for 8 years, and we bought a house 7 years ago. And I don't have asthma yet, but I am expecting a child right here.